Very, very clean, pure water comes out of the the Florida aquifer, and it exists because Florida is mostly limestone, um, and so as a result, you get these sort of limestone pits that fall away, and then pure, clean water comes out. And they can be deep. Some of these things go 100, 200 feet. You also get sinkholes and all that. And they're actually, if you're into fossils, you can find some very spectacular fossils. Now, they're not going to be laid down in a fashion that is scientifically useful. And what I mean by that is when you're fossil hunting, the ideal is what you really want is a complete skeleton laid down in a layer of silt and sand that you can ID the date it was laid down. That's not, fossils in Florida are hardly ever like that. Because most of them formed when, okay, I'm liking that starting angle. That's good. That's real good. Yeah, yeah. So what we want is basically, right, you look at this, this is down, then we want it to reverse, but we also need time for this thing to go up and then reverse. So we're going to want, if you look here, this bit right here, we'll leave it 0, but then we'll reverse it, and then back to 0, reverse, etc. I think that will give us a motion that essentially what I want is this thing to be together, then apart, then back together and apart. So let's set that first and see how it looks. But anyway, like so fossils in Florida, the way they're formed is you get these sinkholes, right? These essentially these pits that will open up in the ground, and animals sometimes they'll fall down into them and just get trapped. And when that happens, they eventually starve to death and die. Now, the sinkholes, after a while, they'll completely collapse and bury any kind of skeletons that are down in there. But further erosion continues, and eventually the sinkholes will open up into these little underwater lakes and streams and get washed out of springs. And so, if you want to go find like a ton of like interesting little bits and chunks of fossils, definitely you aren't going to find these full skeletons, but you will find, especially teeth, and you can find some really good teeth because it's the hardest part in a mammal's body. It's or not just mammals, like any like tetrapod, like any kind of land vertebrate, and so these things, like what you do is you go out to certain particular springs, and they'll just wash out tons of little chunks of bone, but mostly teeth. And like you can go to places and just get um, all these horse teeth and all these glyptodon, megatherium, all these cool extinct animal teeth, and some of them are huge, like megatherium, the giant ground sloth teeth. And keep in mind, like, I really wish these animals had survived to modern times. They were insane. I mean, armadillos the size of Volkswagens, with like spiked tails. Like their tails seriously ended in a giant bony nub that looks like a mace with all these crazy bony protrusions coming out. Um, Giant ground sloths were. How do I explain a giant ground sloth? Imagine an animal the size of an elephant with long, shaggy hair, and it walks on its knuckles and its fingers and massive digging claws. And you know the way these animals ate was they'd literally walk up to trees, sit on their hind legs, and then pull the whole tree down with their claws, and just like rip the tree up out of the ground and eat the top of the leaves. Like, what an awesome animal! Like, what a crazy, crazy creature. And unfortunately, humans, being hungry and very good at hunting big creatures, we just exterminated all these things, and it's really a tragedy. I kind of wish that. Let's see. Let's pull this up again. E. I think I need to set this. It's set to repeat. I also think... Actually, let's hop in the truck and flip the switch. Okay. Okay. Kind of messed up there. What went wrong was... why did it just stop? Oh, maybe I turned off repeat. Oops. Um, yeah, it needs to... I had the timing right. What I didn't have right was... let's see. This needs to... Let's see, minus 30... It needs to go to like 0 and then reverse, and then 0 and then reverse. So I'm going to reset all these real quick because it'll probably be just easier to keep track of it all. Yeah, it needs to skip twice. Did I get on? Yeah. Okay. Keep going. I wish there was like a reset button on these. That'd be kind of useful, but oh well. Yeah, it needs to take, because if it goes back to the 0 angle, it... Well, wait a minute. See, thinking about these angles, Jesus, it's so hard. But yeah, that's one of the things. Just no, 0. Okay, no. Oh my gosh, this is this is a thing, isn't it? Oh, let me just scan these real quick. Looks like we got them. No, we didn't. We did not. There. Okay, so it's negative 30. It needs to go back to 0. Let me... Okay. So its starting position is like that. Then if the angle goes to 0... Let me try one thing real quick. God. Is it treating? Is it treating? See, I don't know. If it starts off at this, I wonder if that's kind of like the base. And then let's see. Yeah, I think this actually needs to be like minus 30, then 0. Yeah. Well, let's... No, I want plus 30 to get it back to the origin. I want to stay at the origin once, and then go back again. Think like that. Okay. Well, let's see. We'll set... I guess we'll set all of them like that. Gosh. Yeah, I think this is how it goes. But yeah, it's such a shame, that humans were so good at hunting that they wiped out all the megafauna. And that's the thing people don't understand, appreciate, and you really only do if you study a little bit biology. But Earth used to be so much more biodiverse. People are like, oh, it's who cares if such and such species is gone? There's plenty more, but we've already wiped out. I need that to go like this, and then back. I think. Gosh, setting this up is. I knew it was gonna be a nightmare, but it is. It's just we gotta deal with it, Yeah, I think this is the right way to do it. Anyway, we'll try it. I mean, it's no biggie if it doesn't work. We'll just have to keep going. And I wish it had like a pop up saying it's set to repeat or it won't. I don't know. It might do it. So let's try. Okay. Hmm. Yeah, it's not because and it did it at the end. That's weird. Oh, is it going? It's uh oh. Huh. God. Oh, I need to hit the switch. Okay. Hmm. These are tricky beasts, and ooh, it's all. Can we reset? Oh, I have a plan. I have a plan. Okay. We'll just put it up on the left and put it back down. I think that'll reset everything. Yeah, there we go. But yeah, like people don't understand. We've wiped out everything bigger than like a cow, except for maybe I mean elephants have held on, but only because they evolved along with us. You know, if they weren't in Africa when the first hominids were starting to turn into hunters, they never would have stood a chance. And I don't know. I think as it's kind of a moral obligation as the only truly like intelligent civilized species that we gotta keep what we have left, you know, and maybe even if science allows it, bring some of them back, like hunt down some mammoth DNA or something and see if we can clone them. Um, just because like we're all diminished as you know part of tribe Earth when all these species are killed off. It's one reason why I get like so upset too with especially like whaling because large mammals their problem is they'll be very successful in their habitat once they get large because it's it's essentially impossible for any predators to exist that will be able to hunt them. That's why elephants do so well. That's why whales do so well. But it also takes a long time to grow that big. And when your generation time is 15 years or whatever, it can be a real problem if a couple of the big adults get wiped out by hunters. So that's one reason why the whales have been doing so badly. It's they're getting hit by not only were they hunted for several centuries, but they especially when like a whales can live like 200 years. They've found blue whales with harpoons in them from the 1800s, and I mean still alive and kicking, you know. And it's when you live that long and it takes so long to raise your young, any loss to the adult population endangers the future of the species. And it's one reason why elephants like elephant poachers are going to kill the elephant off. There's unless we like come together as a collective species and just convince people, look, ivory is not worth killing off the elephants for. It's not worth losing the rhinoceros because you think if you snort rhinoceros horn, it'll get you, you know, it'll make you more attractive or cure cancer or whatever. It's like we, as a species, I feel like we're obligated to figure out a way to convince. I'm not going to say that people who use those things are ignorant, but it's like based on ancient societal ideas that it's kind of like how in the U.S. with tobacco. Tobacco used to be United States. Not only was it a big money crop, but it really was part of the American story. It was something that our early ancestors, like Jamestown and all that, relied on, both for trade as well as for just social functions. But when we realized, no, this stuff it's poisoning people. It's killing folks. There was a lot of kind of pushback, not only just by tobacco companies, but by tobacco culture, arguing that no, no, we're not going to push tobacco out of the American lifestyle. It's part of who we are. It's part of our legends and tradition. Um, it took just a really concerted effort to finally convince folks that, and even to this day, there's still the whole allure of, oh, tobacco, it's what cool people do. And don't get me wrong, like I've sampled tobacco before. I occasionally will have a cigar, but I don't want to make it a habit. I don't want to go out the way that I watched. I lost two grandparents to lung cancer, and it's not it's hard to watch people you care about suffer like that and have to live through that and having gone through that it's something that um, it I was able to learn from that and grow and then know that you put poison into your body, it's the results are going to be pretty devastating. So then again, I still have my sweet tooth, and I still go after sugar, and it's something that I struggle with. Sugar's very habit forming, and yeah, I've bounced around between you know a dangerous weight level and a more reasonable weight level, and it kind of comes down to learning to identify sources of sugar and learning to you can take obviously sugar it won't kill you if you're taking it in small amounts, but if you're going after candy, if you're going after candy bars or soda's really bad for it. You kind of need to educate people and have them know that you can absolutely have some horrible things happen to your body if you make that a habit. And it's something that I didn't really know back in my college days. And for me, having a Coca Cola was a great way to energize myself and get myself ready for some intense studying. And because, I mean, they talk about the freshman 15. I gained almost 40 pounds back in college. And I'm still struggling with the weight gain that I had from then. It can be tough sometimes, and once you believe me, once you get used to having sugar, once it's something that you're gonna go for, it is one of the most difficult things to convince your body that you don't need it, because unlike tobacco, unlike nicotine, sugar is something your body legit needs. You will die if you don't eat any sugar ever. You will starve to death. But it's so tough. You have to, and salt's another one of those that salty things are delicious, and they are because your body absolutely has to have salt. Um, your cells die if they don't have a minimum amount. And actually, the reason for that is it's kind of twofold. Like biochemically, um, one, you have to maintain what's called osmotic pressure in your cells. Essentially, your cells are little bags, and within the bag, you want a particular. Um, you don't want too much water, but you do need some because the water is what your cell uses to push and pull molecules around. Um, and obviously, it's also used in metabolism. The thing is, if the way that your cells maintain that is they put a little bit of salt inside of your cell, and the salt, what happens, it's a really cool process, but basically you have a little bit of a saline solution within the cell at all times, and because of that, just by regulating how much salt is present within your membrane of your cell, it will either pull water in or push water out depending on what the cell needs at any particular moment. Um, so a little bit of salt is absolutely essential. You will die without salt, and you absolutely have to have some in your diet. At the same time, when you put a ton of salt in, It's really, really just, there's all kinds of horrible things that can go wrong with too much salt in your body. Your blood pressure will go up. You get this actual thing where you can actually get a hypersaline solution within your cells, which will kill them. Essentially, they'll be so salty that they'll pull in too much water and explode. Um, and it's actually like we you could observe this under a microscope if you take like a little blood cell or whatever and you put it in a um, a microscope slide and then start adding saline solution to it. The cell will start to swell up until eventually it'll pop, and obviously that kills you. um, so it's quite an interesting thing to observe and watch, though. Gosh, I've been talking so much about biology. I hope folks appreciate, like, or if not appreciate, at least it's fascinating and they enjoy that kind of stuff. I guess what got me on the topic was this idea of, locomotion. Ambulation is the term, and essentially, I've been thinking this whole time about what pattern this needs to be. So it, oh gosh, excuse me there, excuse me, little little bit of unpleasant noises there. So how do we want this to go? One, I think it needs to be white to be on repeat. Well, let's just try that. That's something I really need to know actually. So, okay, it goes. Yeah, it needs to reset, but then reverse. We're getting close though. Yeah, yeah, we're getting very close. And it stops. I don't. Okay, it's not on repeat then, but at least now it's on repeat. So this, okay, it needs to set and then go like, this needs to go 30, and that needs to go 30. Yeah, like that. And we need to do that for every one of them. And then it'll probably have like a period where it just, oh. See, I don't know if while it's repeating, it'll reset to the initial start. I hope it doesn't, because that will eventually mess up the motion. Oh no, wait, this needs to be reversed. So the first one is okay. It's everything after that that needs to be changed, I think. Ah, this is throwing me off. Shoot. Let's see let's just double check, see what I did here. I have a feeling that's gonna throw things off, but hmm. Okay, so the one in the front, right there. What number is that? Uh, Number one is wrong. Huh. This is just going to take a lot of tinkering, I think, and God. Angles are kind of a pain to figure out. It's especially when you're trying to do something complex with timing. Let's see here. So they go there, and they're going back. So I'm trying to like, the sweep of the motion. So they go in, they go out. Then they need to reverse and go out, and then back in. Hmm. Oh, God. Okay, so the first move is great. That's exactly what we need it to do. So it's out, it moves in. I think this is okay too. But then this needs to be changed on all of them, maybe. It's like compartmentalizing this is, uh, no, not 45, 30. It's tough. I think though, yeah, because it goes in, then it resets, then it goes out. I think this is what needs to happen. And then it repeats the motion. So, and this doesn't even, we still have to do the lifting and moving, like going up and down, basically. So this is just like the start of all these angles, but it is, you know, it's a thing. I'm going to not have it on repeat. I'm just going to let it run once, see if we got the angles right. So here we go. Okay, to go out, back in. Oh, God. Okay. Huh. Interesting. Let me hit that switch again. So go in and out. Now they need a reverse here, and they do. Reverse here again. They don't. So, oh, this might be an issue. Shoot. I don't think I have, yeah, see, it goes in, goes out, right? And then there's a break. Then it was reversing. Let's break. Yeah, because see, this one, it goes here. Let me watch this again one more time. It's tricky. In, perfect. Not good. So the second time it goes off, it's bad. Then it does that again. Huh. So the second time, I'm wondering, so this is where it starts. And then it rotates in. That's the first. So this is the second time. Let's just do this. See, yeah, it kind of comes down to trial and error at this point. I might have to like take a little break and like kind of step away from it. But we'll try it. Gosh, it's just kind of I'm having problem kind of spatially thinking about this. Like, I'm sure if I sat down and drew some diagram, I'm a visual guy. I need to draw stuff sometimes. Let me try this. So, okay. Then there. Okay. No, that's no good. It's like repeating it twice. Huh. 'Cause it needs to then sweep the, yeah, see, it needs to do, I don't know. I really don't know. This is, this is a whole thing. Well, what I might do is I'm going to stop it for a second, and then I'll come back after I've puzzled this out. I imagine it's going to take like 40 minutes of tinkering around to see if it works. So anyway, I'm going to stop the video there, and we'll come back when I've figured out this is like and it's just the first part. The next thing I need to do is get the timing of when that raises up and then goes back down, and then raises up and goes back down. But it's a start. It's getting there, and hopefully we'll have it figured out. So I'm gonna call it here and kind of work on it a bit, see if we can come back for the next episode. But I appreciate you guys coming by, and don't forget, like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed it. And I always like getting comments from folks, and your feedback is definitely appreciated and enjoyed. So even the negative stuff, you know, if you're not just being like negative to be negative, I don't mind constructive criticism. Some people might just really not like a particular thing we're working on, and if that's the case, you know, let me know. Yeah, I don't mind. If you have any ideas for how to improve, sorry, a little cough there. If you have any ideas for how to improve stuff, how to like just make it better, yeah, let me know. Always like hearing from folks. But for now, I think I'm gonna just leave this at this. It looks pretty good. I'm pleased so far. We just need to work on. Let me get a good angle for. Yeah, that's a screenshot right there. Maybe a little bit. Yeah, it, right there. That was good. Like a little walking machine. And yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna call it here. So have a good one.